Welcome everybody to our Tea Time Thursdays with the Fox Tribe, and I hope you have your coffee, your tea, your water, whatever that is. We have so many drinks available in front of us. So whatever floats your boat and whatever jingles your bell, ano ang tinimpla mo ngayong araw na ito? Maaari mo siyang i-type. Awesome. So, for all those who are watching us in the recording, yes, stay tuned for this topic. Well, for some, it's not beautiful, but this is a topic that has been like taboo for some time. Like, yeah, nobody talks about being alone or the alone stuff and all of that and everything that brings up. Okay, so for and it is very challenging for the past few years, or not for the past few years, but for a lot of people, it's challenging for them to reach out or to look for people who could contribute to them because they're afraid to be judged about being sad, about all of that. So this afternoon, we will explore this thing about you are not alone. Technically, you're actually not alone. And our topic theme for this Tea Time Thursday is Are You Okay? This is in honor of Are You Okay Day, and this will be um, more detailed by our speaker facilitator, which so our speaker and facilitator that I will introduce right now is an Access Consciousness Bars facilitator, Access Consciousness Bars practitioner, co-creator of the Fox Tribe, and the lady behind Bubbles by DRLY. And she's very creative. She's a graduate of accountancy, and she manages a two service centers here in Davao and Tagum. Ayan. So, without, and of course, she's also a Sunya Council Guide. And without further ado, let me introduce to you our facilitator and speaker, Darlene Suelto.
So, hello everyone. Thank you, Ate Christine, for that introduction. And yeah, I have slides actually. So this is um, this is for the You Are Not Alone campaign, and I will be talking about tools that might contribute to you or maybe fun and light for you. So yes. So again, I'm honoring, acknowledging everyone in this call and everyone who will be watching in the future. So welcome to an invitation to choose a different possibility, and to the friends who will send this to their friends and family who might receive whatever this conversation brings or this space contributes. So yes. So thank you for being here, and know that by being here, we are contributing to another space for others. And yeah, I will just read through why the You Are Not Alone campaign was created. So next slide, please. So the You Are Not Alone campaign was created. So what if now is the time to end the stigma of discussing what so many of us struggle with: stress, anxiety, addiction, depression, PTSD, and more. So too often we hear people say they feel alone before discovering the tools of change with Access Consciousness. So that is why we created the series of lives to reinforce the message that you are not alone, and in fact you are a gift to this world. So the title of this Tea Time Thursday is actually Are You Okay? So before this, and this is in part of the You Are Not Alone campaign. And I know that we are almost done with the third quarter of 2021, and we just started our September. And this month of September, it's all about the Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month, as well as Are You Okay Day. So I know we all have been through a whole lot more than usual since the lockdowns started in 2020. So personally, also for me, I had personal breakthroughs since last year, kanang weekly. if daily siya daily, if not daily since last year. So it's an unusual rate for me. I'm not sure for others, but it's an unusual rate for me that I throw myself to things that to the unknown and daily and or and weekly on a daily or weekly basis. And I throw myself to things that I don't understand and to things that I would have normally avoided. So that's how crazy last year was for me, and I still think it's an ongoing thing. But what made this personal transformations and choices for me with much more ease, joy, and glory is that just before the lockdown last year started, we learned a few tools that helped us with everything that has been going on for me and for the community. So how did we get so lucky? We got to learn the tools that we actually required during the pandemic just before it actually started. It actually started. So and since we learned it and the community learned it and seen the value of it in our lives, we have been talking about and getting into conversations of the possibility of contributing to others and just generally being an invitation for others to choose differently. So actually, I'll be showing some tools that might help others or remind others who are here that they are not alone. So before I get into these tools, let me ask you a question. Actually, nakita na niyo ang question, nauna na ang question, or a few questions. So to everyone watching, my first question is, how are you? So, kumusta ka? ¿Cómo estás? Ni hao ma? O genki desu ka? Otoge jineseo? Apakabar? So that's all in different languages of how are you. So how are you? To the Zoom participants, you can type from a range of 1 to 10. 1 saying I'm not okay. 5 is I'm okay. And 10 as I'm doing great. So how are you since last year until now in general? So from the ranges 1 to 5 to 10. So 5 to 7, yes. We have a 10. We have an 8. So yes, thank you for your answers. Thank you for answering that question of how are you. So it's good to know where everyone is personally, and I honor and acknowledge your honesty and willingness to acknowledge whatever number you gave yourself with the how are you question. And it's for me, the first step for me to change anything is actually to acknowledge where I am currently. So thank you for thank you for acknowledging where you are at the moment and being aware of where you have been operating from. So to the people who feel that they are okay and not okay, which is the range from 1 to 5 and below 10, um, uh, would you like to choose from being not okay to okay and from okay to doing great and beyonds? And that's my next question. Next slide, please. My next question is, can you change it? So the people on Zoom, you can answer 1 is light, 2 is heavy on the chat box. 1 light, 2 heavy. Can you change it? There's a timer. That's new. So 1, I see everyone is saying 1. So it's light for them to change it. So do you notice what asking a real question does? So I've been asking you, I've just asked you 2 questions, and have you noticed how that makes you feel even before you actually answered and had the time to process the question? You might have already felt that something in your world has changed or has shifted, and um, it may feel for some it may feel that it's lighter or heavier, and that's our actually that's our second tool. But the tool one is actually light and heavy. So I asked you earlier what is if it's one if it's light and second if it's heavy. So light and heavy is a tool. So what makes you feel light is always true for you, and a lie is always heavy. So yes. So sometimes when we ask questions, it's in the form of energy of light and heavy, and that's what when you know something is light for you and something is heavy for you. So next slide, please. So you notice I've just asked questions, and that's the beauty and magic of asking questions and being in the question. So personally, there are still moments or a lot of moments in my life na I don't ask questions. I still, it's not an ease for me to ask questions about certain areas in my life and acknowledge them. But there are certain areas in my life, for example, whenever I feel left out or kanang out of sorts, kanang weird feeling like I don't understand what I'm feeling, um, I ask myself questions. And um, how it's like I don't understand how I'm to respond to a person or situation that previously triggered me a lot, and now the energy is awkward and a little confusing because I'm perceiving a different way of responding than I used to. So that's when I also what helps me move forward is actually to ask any question that moves me out of my previous response. So like, who does this belong to? So is this mine? What is it? What can I do with it? Can I change it? And if so, how do I change it? And what else is possible? And how does it get any better than this? So by just asking simple questions, it actually has helped me move and not respond the way I used to. So this might be a contribution to you if it's fun and light for you. If you remember the question or um, just any question, any simple question that will snap you out of whatever it is you are perceiving. And um, yes, so what else is possible? How does it get any better than this? So that's our second tool. So again, the first tool is light and heavy. The second tool is asking and being in the question. Next slide, please. So another interesting, so another interesting thing about anxiety, nothing. So another interesting thing about anxiety, I learned of this just this morning, that anxiety actually happens when I buy the lies and points of view of what I am, of what who I am and what I should be, and I buy these lies from other people, and I bought these judgments and I made expectations of myself based on this kanang who should I be, who what can I do, mga ano ba. And I keep choosing from these should be's and should nots, and instead of asking questions to have more awareness. So again, asking questions, we don't expect a specific answer, but we're just asking questions to have more awareness. And instead of asking my knowing and following the choices that make me feel lighter, I choose others otherwise. That's why I get into anxiety and depression. So I'm not sure if I think I've mentioned this to the people here on Zoom that used to made it real and significant for me na I am suffering from anxiety and depression. And these tools have helped me become aware that have I can have a different choice and a different reality. So yes, and this is an invitation that this is also possible for you because no one is an exemption to this. This is a fact that, that there is a different reality and you have choices. And one thing also, another tool. So what happens actually when you're before the tool? So anxiety and depression can also be caused when we try to box ourselves into these labels and expectations and keep all that energy in your body when you're more than that. So, for example, they say, um, I can only be good at a certain area of arts, for example. So, so I box myself into that label na I'm just good at, for example, sketching. I'll always be good at this certain area. And even though that label is quite good because you are good at something like sketching, but then what if that is not my truth? And I'm more than that. I can be good at other things, and I keep that energy within me and box it into that label. So that can actually cause the anxiety. So that's something new for me that I learned from one of the lives that the access facilitators did. And so there is an exercise we can do all now together. So are you ready to do an exercise? So take a deep breath, inhale and exhale. And I call this exercise the expanding out. So this is so simple. You don't have to visualize anything. You just ask your energy to expand. So expand your energy beyond your body, in the four corners of your room, wherever you are. Expand beyond your house or the apartment or the office or wherever you are. Expand your energy beyond your city. Expand your energy beyond this world. And if it can reach the universe. And how does that make you feel, the expanding out? So again, I ask my the Zoom participants to type 1 for light and 2 for heavy. So how does the expanding out exercise make you feel? So type 1 light, 2 for heavy. Thank you, participants, Zoom participants. They Some have said that it's light for them. So that is how this exercise is actually an exercise that would allow you to have more awareness that um, that how amazing you are in perceiving. So and you're perceiving and you're being, and um, and by being by perceiving, we also perceive other people's thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And actually, I didn't put the slide in for um, perceiving and perceiving of other people's feelings and emotions and who does this belong to, but I did put it in the asking of questions. So most of the time, whatever we perceive, the feelings, thoughts, and emotions are not ours, and it might be a contribution to you to ask yourself first, who does this belong to, and truth, is this mine? And if it's light, then it's not yours, right? And if it's heavy, it's yours. So if it's yours, then send it back to sender with consciousness attached. So that's how easy the tools are. And yeah. And that's how amazing you are in perceiving. And what if by being you, by choosing more from your lightness, what if just by being you are already a contribution to the world? Again, we remind everyone and myself that anxiety and depression are not wrong, not right, not good, and not bad. And like any other choices we make, these are simply choices, and these are not unchangeable. These are things that we can change. And that's what these tools are um, inviting you to be, and to know that you know what you require. And what keeps us And next slide, please. And what actually keeps us most in the loop of anxiety and depression. So ako lang nagtawag ani as loop because it's easier to for me to have an awareness of um, of everything that keeps me stuck. So I call it a loop. So what keeps me stuck in a loop is, for example, in anxiety and depression, is me thinking that there's something wrong with me, or there's something wrong with whatever I am dealing with, and it's also when I make my choices significant and important. So significant and important, meaning if it does not fit my expectation of myself, like for example, when I stay mad with my younger brother, so I think everyone knows this. So I am easily irritated by my younger brother, and if I always make my choice of um, my choice of being irritated wrong, important, and significant, and then I make it unchangeable, and I will keep making the same choice instead of asking a question. So again, what takes us out of the loop is to ask a question, as easy as who does this belong to, uh, and this is there's a question on the slide that I like. I just remembered now that if this was not significant and important, what can I choose now, and which is the lighter or lightest choice if you have a lot of choices to choose from. So yes. And next slide, please. And even if I choose to be irritated after a few 10-second increments, so know that you always have a choice, and choices are only valid for 10 seconds. So you can always choose again after 10 seconds. What also keeps us in the loop is that we think we have to be angry for a long period of time. So um, that was significant for me, and I never thought, dili wala ko kabalo that I had that belief about my choices. I never really explored that choices can actually be as flippant as 10 seconds, because there's also this judgment that when we can't decide, you're so indecisive, right? Mga anak sila. So so know that your choices are only valid for 10 seconds, and you can always choose again after 10 seconds. So I can always choose again after being irritated, after choosing to be irritated with my brother and getting angry, or my sister. Look at her face. Oh my gosh. Yes, my sister. But sometimes I just pretend to be irritated. That's a choice too. So, yes. So so you have a choice always, and you can always choose again after 10 seconds. And don't make your past choices significant and important. If Yeah, and don't consider them in the next 10 seconds that you make a choice. Like, okay, I got angry for 10 seconds. Will I choose that again in this 10 seconds? So, yeah, just keep on choosing every 10 seconds. And yes, and yes, that's her face. And the FBAI says we look alike. So, so next slide, please. So, yes, I know I've introduced to you quite a few tools already today, but you don't have to believe in anything that is not light and fun for you. Again, they're only invitations, and you know what tools would work for you and what you require, and trust your knowing and awareness. That's what I also always remind myself, um, to trust my knowing and my awareness, and I know myself better than anyone else, and you know yourself better than anyone else. So whatever I presented just now, take what's fun and light for you, and if it's not true for you, then don't you don't have to follow it or use it. And before I actually I didn't know my I'm going too fast. So it's just been 30 minutes. So I'm almost done. So guys, so before I actually finish the presentation, so let me introduce to you a core tool. So this is the core tool. And we will be offering also for free on September 15th and 28th, 2021 as part of the You Are Not Alone campaign um, in Davao City, Philippines. And this is the access bars. So you might be asking, what is the access bars? Access bars is a body process where we touch the 13 cells in your head that corresponds to a certain belief or consideration. For example, in money, body, sexuality, joy, and sadness, and many others. And what it does is it eases our brain waves so that we release the stuff that we we release energetically the stuff that we don't need or require and that keeps us stuck. So the bars is an invitation for us to receive more through our bodies because we have a body and because we are infinite beings with a body, and releasing more of things we made heavy, important, real, and significant. So again, I mentioned that all these tools are simply invitation because again, at the end of the day, it is us that chooses what is light and fun for us. And we all have choice. We all have a choice. And next slide, please. And yeah, so that's the You Are Not Alone Free Bars Clinic, September 15 and 28, 2021. And, and it's Di Ka Nag-iisa campaign also in Tagalog. Yay. Next slide, please. Okay. And I leave. So thank you for receiving whatever is fun and light for you here, and choosing that every 10 seconds, um, and choosing that every 10 seconds, and choosing again, and not judging yourself for whatever choice you make, and not allowing your past choices to influence your now and eternity. So what if, so I leave you with these two questions. What if there's nothing wrong with you? And what if being you in this world is the gift? Yes. And next slide, please. So thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for choosing differently. And all of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. And that has been my presentation. And this next slide, please. And this has been your Access Bars facilitator and practitioner, Darlene or Bubbles. And I hope you got something or received something from it. Sorry. And I so it was so fast, so fast. Even I don't feel it's fast, but it is fast.
Well, thank you, Darly. Thank you for sharing that awesome slide. Actually, we don't need to have it longer though kasi maganda kasi number one, what you gave out was like of the tools that could help you move from being alone or feeling alone to wow, I can change this, to a place of I can change this. And I am sure those tools are a reminder for a lot of us here who may feel na wala na to na change or there are things that we cannot change. So everything is changeable. And thank you for reminding everyone about things are changeable. And nalingaw ko sa imuhang presentation. Are you okay? O, 'di ba nakahimo og necklace si Zai while ano, Are you okay necklace. O, diba? So what else is possible? And here's another, maybe, do you have questions? Anybody here who has questions? Because if not, we will reshare the video of Dr. Dane so that there's a video of Dr. Dane at 10 minutes. That could be a contribution to everybody who's here right now who haven't seen that video. No question. How about you, Darlene? Do you have final a message and reminder?
Um, just keep choosing. So from for the past few days or past few classes or live na we've been with Ryan and the access facilitators. Um, mostly ang kay sa second na live na You Are Not Alone, they mentioned that even though Ryan T mentioned that even though he was not sure about the practice, that he had doubts logically, he didn't understand or he didn't feel what other people were feeling. He kept doing it and kept choosing it until one time he did a bars on someone and on her sister specifically, and that then he finally felt that sense of peace and gratitude that he had never felt before. And maybe you've done the tools a few times, and maybe you're asking yourself, why am I still doing this? Why I'm still in the same parang same still choosing from still choosing the same, or there you feel that maybe there's nothing changing or nothing significant changing. Know that by consistently choosing it, you are yeah, maybe some people feel that and they try to change it one time, twice, thrice, and give up. Know that even though you don't see the change now, just keep choosing it if it's light for you. Don't allow the lies and the points of views and whatever it is to distract you. So I think again, I think I'll leave you with the two questions. So what if there's nothing wrong with you, and what if being you in the world is the gift? Thank you.
Thank you. Let's listen to Dr. Dane. I'm just gonna turn off the recording.